it is still such a new tournament, and yet we see so much loyalty already that people have to each one of these teams. And sometimes that gets lost with the amount of franchise cricket that gets played around the world, and also how players obviously change from team to team. And yet here, there's so much loyalty to each of the teams. You go to St. George's and everybody's wearing a Sunrisers shirt. You come here, everyone is in blue and supporting Pretoria Capitals. And as you can see, even though it's pouring with rain, they're still staying here. So I love the loyalty.
But it's been amazing to be at the Betway SA20 again. I think it almost feels like I'm always in the Caribbean, because you go to the different grounds, there's a bit of West Indian flavor. I like to say we have some West Indian players coming every season. But building on what Nat said about the crowds, I think yesterday I was watching the Pearl game and I heard Mike Hazeman ask Dinesh Karthik, you know, why did you want to come to this tournament? He said he thinks after the IPL it's the second best tournament in the world. And when I thought about that, you think about the domestic talent they have in this country, it seems like the local players are the ones that win competitions around the world. And when I look at these teams, there's such strong identity with obviously the fans, but also the local players coming through. A lot of them playing for, you know, in Pretoria, a lot of them playing for the Titans here at Centurion. And I think that makes a big difference in terms of just the connection to the fans, but also on the field as well, with that strong domestic brand coming through.
Do a comparison for us between last year's season and this year's season in terms of what you've seen change. I know we're only 5 matches in, but obviously
it's great to see the younger players getting involved earlier. The rookies program is something building off of the SA20 schools program that is in place to help develop the future. And you look at what we've had in the first 3 days of the competition. Leandro Pretorius yesterday with that 97, even Bryce Parsons in our first game in Durban. I think the way that the two of them have shown a great level of maturity, again, coming out of that under 19 World Cup last year. There's Kwena Mapaka as well. I think it shows that South Africa cricket is in great hands, but that there's a production line of talent coming through. When you look at Pretorius yesterday and having the opportunity to bat with someone like a Joe Root, I feel like that experience he will get in the middle is invaluable.
And it's already been mentioned by those players as well, because they've spoken so much about how much they're learning being in the dressing room with these players, but also batting out in the middle. Matthew Britsky mentioned it about Kane Williamson. He feels that he's almost the missing link for their team, but also from his point of view, from a personal perspective. So getting that opportunity to bat with somebody like a Joe Root would do Leandri the world of good. And he's a youngster. He's not even 20 just yet. To be able to do this on what Nicol, when I saw that target in Paul, I thought, well, that's a pretty good score in Paul.
Sure.
And he was absolutely brilliant.
And I think I loved at the end of the game when he said, you know, he was struggling through periods, and it's so similar with Parsons, who we'll see soon, but he said having Joe at the other end, he just continued to talk to him and help him understand that there was little pressure on and to keep going. And I think, Korea, these are the small, invaluable moments that we'll look back on in a decade and say, if this guy turns out to be a star for South Africa, it could have been this season of the season 3 of the Betway SA20 that could have been paramount in his development.
And you need franchises like this. You need those moments that it gives that exposure to the big international players for the rookies. I mean, it's invaluable learning curves and learning experiences for them.
Yeah, one thing you get exposed to is obviously players, but you also get exposed to different coaches as well who are coming in from overseas. You get that opportunity to possibly play on different surfaces, and of course you get an opportunity to test your skills, because you are now playing against some of the best in the world. Players who have won World Cups, players who have led their countries. So you're getting that chance as well to test your own